3 lockdown stories from school. I request that what you've created here go away for a long time. It took a lot of time, but eventually, these 3 stories from the past were found. Point 1. High school lockdown. It was a typical boring day during school. Just math 7th period on a Friday, meaning the week was almost over and spring break would finally be upon us. Everyone was antsy in their seats, which I can tell you, we did not have a test that day, as many of my friends did with their other teachers. Our teacher also decided in the middle of the class to start playing a game with us. He was a very relaxed guy. I remember the brand logo quiz on sporcle.com while we were doing a few. The exact moment was right after my friend answered a question, the answer to which I remember exactly. Adidas. The voice of the dean came on the intercom. He sounded panicked and frantic, telling all teachers that this was not a drill and to enter lockdown. I was truly creeped out, and as always, I got goosebumps on my arms. The relaxed teacher also seemed to panic. He rushed to turn off the lights and ushered us to the back corner of the room. We all sat silently for about 2 hours. Minutes later, the usual buzzing came from a panel in the back of the room, which indicated the school had been taken over. It must have cut all power to us. We looked at each other, realizing this was mandatory and serious. We waited a few more minutes. I heard a man screaming at the top of his lungs coming from the hallway. 2 girls in the class started crying, which scared all of us even more. The screaming got closer, and the man, who sounded insane, started banging on the lockers down the hall, screaming, "I'm going to kill all of you." That was the moment I started to get scared. My life teacher, like all of us, shushed us. We looked at each other to see the reactions of our peers. The banging then moved from the lockers to the door of our classroom, and that's when one of the crying girls screamed, "Nitrogen monoxide." The banging on the door only grew worse as the man started shouting, "Open up." 2 of the girls in the class were up, crying loudly, and it felt like an eternity now. The man was pounding on the door, but eventually, he finally continued down the hall, screaming like a mental lunatic until we couldn't hear the person anymore. I'd say 10 minutes later, but it felt like half an hour. The dean returned with a booming voice on the speaker, explaining the situation. It was surprising he had to do this. He explained that some seemingly mentally unstable person had entered the building and attacked a woman sitting at the front desk, causing her and the staff to flee the building, screaming. Personnel were not sure if the man was armed or not. Now, this was before the school had cameras or could afford proper security, so the school was wide open to something like this. The staff had done a sweep of all the hallways and classrooms, and when they couldn't find him, the dean instructed the teachers to continue teaching, but to keep all doors locked and not allow any student to leave for any reason. But the most disturbing part was the reason why. One of the working janitors on the night shift had found the man sleeping in one of the storage closets near the back of the school, and according to the rumors spread by my peers, he had a .44 Magnum in his pocket. The janitor must have done something stupid to wake him up, like leaving the closet door open, because by that time, police were able to arrive at the scene where the man was died, as far as I know. My entire class left that day with no idea if this man ever faced justice or was ever found. But I like to think he is currently being given the necessary help he needs. Asterisk. 2. Middle school lockdown. My school has 2 lunch periods. The first lunch period is for all 6th graders and some 7th graders. The second lunch period is for the other half of the 7th graders and all 8th graders. The lockdown occurred at the beginning of October. On the day the lockdown took place, it was overcast and rainy during the first lunch period. I heard 4 loud booms. I personally thought it was thunder, but the entire lunch crowd started screaming. I was thinking those kids were just being ridiculous, but the campus security ran in and started yelling at people to go inside the multi-purpose room. The kids who were in line to buy lunch had to throw out their lunch and come in. Me and some friends also entered the room. It was a huge group of other kids, everyone wondering what was going on. The multi-purpose room is huge, and the back wall of the room is made of see-through glass. When me and my friends were rushed inside, the campus security was covering the glass with the curtains, and there were adults at every exit. My friend Eric was curious, as well as the rest of us, so he asked one of the adults what was going on. When he came back, he said, "You know how right in front of TMS there are those houses?" I replied, "Yeah, there's this mentally disabled, crazy man that barricaded himself in front of his house, and he's threatening to commit suicide and kill the cops if he's evicted. He was walking around outside of school, watching kids in a weird way." Eric told us that it turned out the man was also a registered sex offender, making matters worse. We were stuck in the multi-purpose room for a whole hour, taking up 2 periods. After the whole thing was settled, we were escorted to our classrooms one by one. I later found out that the man lives next to my friend Brandy, who told me about the previous Halloween when she saw the same man at his window, cutting his arm and writing in his own blood, "Don't come here or I'll kill you," on his window. Of course, being Halloween, people, including Randy, assumed it was just for the holiday. But after this horrific incident, we knew this man was mental, and we're glad he never got near us. 3. College intern Lockdownium, 22 years old, fresh out of college, and I recently got a job at my old high school as a sort of computer intern in the school basement. The basement of the school is very messy and disorganized, but there is a small 3-person office that's actually very nice down there. It has 3 nice big desks, 2 mini fridges, a flat screen TV mounted on the wall, and oh so satisfying air conditioning, a luxury the students and teachers cannot enjoy in the school. And of course, all the school's servers and other computer stuff. I got the job because 3 of my old computer teachers flat out adored me. I could actually consider them as real friends, not just teacher figures, so they all helped tremendously in landing me this job. It's been great until something that happened a few weeks ago. My 2 coworkers that shared the office with me, Dave and Gary, weren't in the office at the time. They were upstairs working on papers or whatever. I was eating my sandwich during my lunch break when I got a phone call from one of the women in the front office, telling me the school was on lockdown and that somebody possibly armed had entered the school. There wasn't much that I could do other than turn off the lights because, surprisingly, as nice as this little office was, it didn't have an actual door to it, just a big opening. And the door to the whole basement didn't even have a working lock. For my own safety, I did turn off all the lights in the office and my computer screen. I kept my phone on the desk, texting both Gary and Dave, but they wouldn't respond. I sat down there in the dark, playing games on my phone for like 20 minutes, waiting for the call from up front to tell me to resume working. I had no idea what was happening. I couldn't hear what was going on upstairs from down here, but I was not allowed to make any calls until I was informed that the lockdown was over. Then the noisy basement door opened as the creaking echoed across the basement and into my office. I sat up from my seat, wondering if I should call out Gary or Dave. I was eager to get some info from them. Someone then came running down the stairs, and their footsteps were approaching my office. I pushed away my chair and crawled under my desk. Somebody entered the office, but did not turn on the lights. There was just silence. I can't even describe the fear I was experiencing. I felt like if I made one sudden noise, I'd be a dead man. Suddenly my phone dinged as I got a text message. I felt my entire world shrivel up and die at that one moment as I clenched my teeth in fear. Footsteps suddenly moved closer to me until I finally dove out from under the desk in capitulation, begging whoever it was not to kill me. And just then, someone grabbed my arm and pulled me up. It was some guy in a red plaid button-up, jeans, and a reddish-black cap. He told me, "It's okay, I'm just down here hiding with you." "What's going on up there?" I whispered to him. He kind of ignored my question and asked me if there's an exit down here. I told him, yeah, around that way, before he could do anything else. I asked him, "Who are you?" There was a brief moment of silence before he started explaining. He was coming in to pick up his son when a teacher told him to hide. After his explanation, I checked my phone and saw the text I received was from Dave. It said, "Dude, this is F*** King Crazy. Some guy with a gunshot, Mr. Buckley. He's wearing a red shirt and hat. Whatever you do, don't come upstairs." I was about to reread that text out loud to the man until I realized. I looked up and felt my stomach sink. The man seemed to catch on to my suspicious stare. Panicking, all I could think to do was to run for the upstairs. A gunshot echoed through the basement, and I could hear the bullet ricochet off something metal in the darkness. But thank God the bullet missed me, and I made it upstairs, fortunately. Police were waiting at all exits, including the basement exit, and caught the man the second he opened the door. More good news. Our teacher, Mr. Buckley, survived the gunshot. It was later determined that the man and Mr. Buckley had some beef for whatever reason, but that was never ever revealed. All we know is that Mr. Buckley couldn't have done anything that would have warranted this kind of reaction, and I know that the sound of that gunshot will forever echo in my mind.